Welcome. In my previous video, I explained that and I informed to all the Dalit brothers. Dalits, it includes Dalit Christians, of course, that we initiated a concept called ADS, Ambedkar Defense Squad. We started. Our intention is simple that we wanted to educate all our Dalit community. We wanted to give training just legally, constitutionally, ideologically, what Ambedkar's vision of bringing up all these marginalized societies out of their poverty, social injustice, social untouchability, and what is the core vision of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So we need to recap. So for that, we started an organization called ADS, like Ambedkar's Defense Squad. Defense doesn't mean that we defend with weapons and all. We ideologically we defend, intellectually we defend. So that's the main idea of this ADS. So I requested other states, like other than Andhra Pradesh anyway we started already. It's going on. So other than Andhra Pradesh, even other states also, you should start educating our Dalit community across the country. Mainly we wanted to give insights about how the origin of caste system, like Varna or Jati distinction, how it came, and how the caste was evolved in the ancient period and medieval period, and what was the concepts of purity, pollution, and untouchability among the people. And there was difference between Dalits, Adivasis, OBCs. They were oppressed, but they oppressed in different names, OBCs, Dalits, and Adivasis. That you need to understand from core level. We had to discuss with all these things with our brothers, Dalit brothers. So we started this ADS, Ambedkar Defense Squad, intellectual and conceptual, ideological, philosophical defense. Defense doesn't mean that it is something else. Ancient and classical period, there was injustice, you all know, social exclusion, directly in texts like Manusmriti. Directly it is there in the text like Manusmriti. Why they were restricted education, why they restricted temple entry, why they were restricted property ownership, and why the manual scavenging and bonded labor routes, how from where the segregation arose, why in the during medieval period dynamics, why the caste continued, the caste oppression continued under different kingdoms, why it continued. So okay, ancient period, someone wrote Manusmriti, for example, then why these kings did not forbid all those things, why it continued the caste oppression during the different kingdoms, why does all these kingdoms, kings, rulers, why they were also casteist people, we don't know, why they did not forbid all this until the Constitution of India arose. So that continued. Why there were Bhakti movements in the middle, like anti-caste voices like Kabir, Ravidas. What is the need of these people to go with the Bhakti movement, and why there is a mismatch between spiritual equality and social equality, and everybody is talking about spiritually equal. Everybody is talking about equality spiritually, but they're ignoring the social equality. Everybody says that the Bible, no casteism, no, we all are equal, everybody created in the image of God. And even Hinduism says that everybody born out of Brahma, so everybody same, only thing is that from different parts they came. Whatever, philosophically, theologically, they are talking about equality, but why there is a difference in the ground level? Why there is casteism in the ground level? That we need to address and discuss with all our brothers. That's why we started these ADS, like Ambedkar Defense Squads organization. So I request across the country, please mail me PROF profrbkpolitics@gmail.com, profrbkpolitics@gmail.com. Send me mail. We'll start in your state also. Means you have to start. I will not come and start in your state. You have to start. We just give ideological support. So please mail me from across the country, other states also. We need to discuss about British rule, why this colonial period, what they have done, Britishers, why there is codification of caste in census and administration, why they took that initiation, what was the impact of missionaries on education and Dalits, what are the impacts of Hindu social reformers like Raja Rammohan Rai, Dayan Saraswati, Swami Vivekananda, what was their impact on this on Dalits and Adivasis, why there was early Dalit assertions movements, what was the role of Jyotirao Phule, what was the role of Ma Savitribai Phule, what was the role of colonial policies, and why the caste was, they reinforced caste, why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and anti-caste movement became famous, what was the struggles of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, why he separated electorates, why there was temple entry rights movement, why there was access to education demand, what were the key events like Pune Pact, what was the constitutional protection and limits mentioned in the Constitution of India, what is that abolition of untouchability Article 17, why they kept it, why they kept reservation policy, what was the purpose of reservation policy and scope, what was the purpose of SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act, why there was a gap between the law and the ground reality. There is a law is telling something else, but ground reality is something else. You say that you want to abolish untouchability, but you say that again we abolish only Hindu untouchability but not the Christian untouchability. You say that SC/ST should not be harassed based on the caste. You protect only Hindu SC/STs but not the other religious scheduled caste. You say that they can be abused, but only Hindu, Sikh, Buddha cannot be abused. Why that SC/ST Act? Why there is a law gap between law and the ground reality? Why this 1950 Scheduled Caste Order core issue? What was the core issue of 1950 Scheduled Caste Order? What was the why was there is a Constitutional Order 1950? What was the purpose of Constitutional Order 1950? Why they added extra para 3? Why they restricted scheduled caste only to Hindus, later extended to Sikhs and Buddhists, but now why there was restrictions? Why there were why they excluded Dalit Christians and Dalit Muslims? We need to understand all this. For this, we started these ideas. So we wanted to know what was the stated justification and how does caste persist even after conversion. Why you are arguing that in society you are harassing them. Again you are arguing that they don't have caste, and based on the same caste you are harassing them, and again you said they don't have caste. No, they will be in the church only 1 hour. The remaining life they will be in the society. There was casteism in the society. You are referring to 1 hour church, saying that there is no casteism in the church. It is actually not Christians who are attacking them. It is in the society they are getting attacks. Okay. When someone goes out, there will be full heart. Just one time you go into the ATM and there will be cool AC room, and you say that, see, there is a AC room in the ATM. So he doesn't need umbrella, he doesn't need cool. What is this argument? Same way like they go to church 1 hour in a Sunday, the remaining entire life he has to under the same roof in the same society. And why these arguments are coming? Why there is a legal and social identity mismatch? Why Dalit Christians were identity and there was exclusion, persistence of caste discrimination within the Christianity also? Why these Christians are not changing? Why these Christians are, they claim themselves they are holy but they are still practicing Christianity? They say that our religion is super duper, but there still casteism is there in the Christianity. Why it is continuing in the church? why they don't support this SC reservation demand by their own members. The own members are going to the same church, but the pastor will not support them when they ask for the government support. SC reservation, they say that no, will not support, we don't have caste. But again, you show the casteism, social economic indicators compared to scheduled caste Hindus, church structures and caste hierarchy. We need to deeply understand to fight this. To understand this, first you should have a structural organization. You should have, so across the country, from all over the country, please join ADS. Please send me mail, profrbspolitics@gmail.com. And how the Adivasis were different from scheduled caste. There was a caste depression, but tribal marginalization is happening. Why there is a land alienation and displacement to the tribals. So why forest rights struggles were being still a factor for the tribals. What was the impact of development projects on tribals? What this you are talking about, that there is no caste, there is no casteism in Christianity, there is no caste in Christianity, there is no caste in, you are talking all these things. But why this data and evidence is something else? Why literacy rates are showing that even both are illiterates? Why land ownership is showing that even Christian, Hindu, even the Dalit Christian and Hindu Christian both are suffering? Even the data is showing that income disparities both exist in Dalit Christian and Hindu Christian. Why there was government jobs and education marginalization is happening both Hindu and Christians. NCRB data is showing that the attacks are there and Hindus and Christians equally. And manual scavenging statistics, if you look at both Dalit Christians and Hindu Christians, both are doing a manual scavenging job. And the data is showing something else, and you say that there is no caste in the Christianity, and then are arguing that. So why all these things need to be understood carefully? That's why we started these areas. We want to give training to all our brothers, especially all the professors, teaching staff, lawyers, judges, intellectuals. You all should join. Please send me mail. We'll start this across the country. Post-independence atrocities, we need to understand. Why this colonial, why Narendra Modi ji says that you should come out of the colonial mindset. But we are harassed and with the same base, the same colonial oppression we are facing now. When you are anti-colonial, you should not oppress like colonials. You should not use colonial documents and suppress now. Issues like temple entry denials, even now it is there. Till now there is a problems with the burial ground segregations. Even honor killings are happening even right now till today. Right? We need to understand all this. Why there are legal challenges to Para 3, court cases demanding, what were the court cases pending, what are the roles of lay commissions and committees, ongoing debates in judicial and parliament. And we need to understand modern movements and activism like right Dalits movements today, role of student movements in civil society, digital activism, awareness campaigns. We need to understand. We have to focus on the intersectionality also, like Dalit woman, double discrimination. Dalit women will have 3 discriminations. Dalit Christian women will have 3 discriminations. One is a woman discrimination, one is Dalit discrimination, another minority discrimination. Triple engine, that Narendra Modi ji was talking about triple engine, Sarkar, it is a triple engine oppression on the Dalit Christian woman oppression, Dalit oppression, Christian oppression, minority oppression. Why this triple engine oppression? We need to understand Dalit Christians and religion plus caste exclusion need to be understood, and Adivasi women and displacement we need to understand. International perspective, comparison with racial discrimination globally, UN reports on caste-based discrimination, why, diaspora exercises, why. So we need to think all these things. So that's why we started these ADS. So anyway, my role will not be there if you start ADS in your state. I'm just giving you my name because it is good that if you have a universal name across the country and then start teaching all these people. That's why I'm suggesting this name ADS, because we started in Andhra Pradesh. You use the same ADS name and you also start doing in your states. That's the entire meaning of this video. We need to focus on the human dignity as the core principle, not as the religion. Meaning of dignity in constitutional law. What is the dignity in the constitutional law? Why dignity is the foundation of all rights? Historical denial of dignity to marginalized communities. Why? Here the issue is not the God, issue is not the devil, issue is the dignity of the human rights. Equality before law and non-discrimination. Why Article 14 was kept, why Article 15 was kept, why Article 16, 18, 19, 21, 25. What is the purpose of these articles? There was a freedom of religion. Article 25, freedom of religion is individual right. But why there is for para 3 that they said you will be penalized if you change the religion. Why Article 14 to 16 talks about equality, Article 25 religion. Why penalty for conversion, punishment for the conversion, harassment for the conversion, denial of rights for the conversion. Why this penalized, why the conversion is such a costly in India, that we don't understand. Anyway, power gone, we'll talk about later. Thank you, namaskar.